questions while we're waiting? Yeah.
Nice. We were talking about kind of picture of God as kind of motivates a lot of his ethics. Was that necessary to come believe? Is it necessary to come believe in that God like as an actual entity as opposed to just being kind of something in the background? Idea.
Well, I think for the influence claim, for the thought that it's in order, in part, because there are worries about freedom of will and evil, that Kant thinks in the way he does, and that those problems get on the scene in a particularly vivid way because of antecedent views about God. You don't really need that there be a God, right? I mean, even an atheist is going to feel the pull of those ideas because we inherit a system of moral thought that itself has religious roots, even if we no longer remember what they are or do that, right? So when we think, oh yes, it really is just the intention that counts. Or, right, if I didn't have a certain kind of freedom, I wouldn't have any moral responsibility. Or, right, moral responsibilities or duties apply to all of us equally, regardless, right? When I'm thinking things like that, I'm thinking downstream from a set of religious views. I may not have them myself, but they're there. A good place to look for this, if you want to see, is any of the writings of Alistair MacIntyre on ethics are about moral traditions and how we inherit them. And then we, in a way, it's a bit like, I think it's a good model. Right? If you live in a very old city, like Athens or Rome, for example, and you want to do some house renovation, you're almost certainly going to run into an archaeological site. You'll dig in your basement, you'll find remnants of an old city. The old city is in ruins. It no longer makes, the ruins no longer make perfect sense, right? They're ruins. But there they are. And in a way, our moral thought can look like that. We've layered over new systems of thought on top of old ones that are still important in shaping. I'm going to say again, some more conditioning things, or background things, that are very important before looking at how Kant uses the categorical imperative. And what that, again, to go back to. Very hard, I think, to get this into your head squarely, because it's very hard to understand exactly what it's going to be. Here's a useful picture. So, although Kant is part of the new world, right? He's downstream from Newton and the 17th century revolution of science. So he's not doing Aristotelian physics anymore, right? The world has changed. But there are elements of Aristotle and Plato that still remain. And one reason for that is that in school textbooks and elsewhere that Kant was educated in, the remnants of these systems of thought persist. It takes a very long time. So, for example, it wasn't until the end of the 19th century that Aristotle's logic was questioned and replaced. And the same is true for Euclidean geometry and all other things. These all just stayed there, right, shaping people's thoughts, because they seemed like, well, they're the only game in town. Right? It took a long time for those games to change. So let's take a look at one element in that inherited background that plays a huge role, and kind of we'll see what that role is today. And it's the notion that all explanation is in the end explanation in terms of essences. I'll explain it. It's not a hard idea to get, but it's an important one to be clear about. Now the thought is that finally, when you want to explain, say, why an apple tastes the way it does, you are going to bottom out, your explanations are going to bottom out in some definition of what it is to be an apple. So it'll be something that's, apples taste the way they do because it's part of what it is to be an apple to have certain sugars, blah, 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 right? It'll go like that. Same, why does table salt dissolve? Well, table salt is sodium chloride, right? This thing ionizes in water. What's the bottom line? Well, it's the definition of sodium chloride as having a certain kind of chemical structure. So when you bottom out, and this thought is, those, finally when we discover them, they're necessary truths, right? Right? Salt is by definition blah, that's necessary. And so when we reach that as an explanation, we've reached something necessary. So take the model of, well, why do the three internal angles of a triangle equal two right angles? Oh, what is it to be a triangle? It's to be a closed plane figure with three sides. Give me that, and Euclid will then prove, using just that definition and a few other axioms, that the internal angles equal two right angles. And the same for anything else, right? So that model of final explanation by essences persists, and philosophers are still very fond of it. They're not so confident about that they know what a lot of these essences are, but they're pretty confident this is a very good way to do it. So we ask for a definition. What is knowledge? Philosophers love these questions. The te esti question that we get from Socrates. What is justice? I'll tell you. Right? Justice is necessarily blah, 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 and then a whole lot of things follow. Right? So that's the way Plato proceeds in the Republic. He argues for a definition of justice, that justice is really a certain kind of psychic harmony of three parts of the soul. And he says, well, if that's true, then look, that's bound to make you happier than injustice does. Right? So we want explanations bottoming out in essences. So here's the explanation. Right, and then it goes down, da 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 da, and when does it stop? When do you run out of why questions in essences? So, why does justice make you happy? Blah, 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 blah. Justice is psychic harmony. Blah, 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 makes you happy. Right? That's the form, right? So, and these are necessary. They're identities, right? There is A is identical to, by definition, B, and that, as philosophers write it now, is necessary. That's what the little box means. It's necessary, right? So all information is going to end up in essences. And now I'll just give you a famous Nietzschean maxim. Nothing has an essence unless it has no history. You can put that together, right? Think about it. Right? Only things without histories have essences. And then Nietzsche is going to use that idea to attack this very idea that's right at the bottom of all the thinkers that we've been looking at so far. Right? And it says, finally, it's about necessities. Things are this way.